The ball just comes out for Dixon, who snaps on goal. He's got it! Tory Dixon has kicked the opening goal of the game against the Giants. Ball goes inside 50, top of the goal square. Leaping up was Taylor Dalhouse, dribbling through. I think the Cats are through the preliminary final. Siren sounds. They'll be roaring and roaring at Punt Road tonight because the Tigers have won their second flag in 3 years. Yes, good evening everyone and welcome to another edition of Bev's Footy Calls, and tonight we open round 3 of the 2020 AFL season with a very interesting game at the home of footy, the MCG. It's Richmond taking on Hawthorn. Thank you very much for your company. And let's get straight into it. Let's get straight into having a look at the teams assembled for the match tonight. There's been a late change. Paul Polopolo is out and he has been replaced by Jack Scrimshaw. Also coming in to the Hawks team for tonight's clash is Jager O'Meara, and out goes Harry Morrison for him. The changes for Richmond, well, Jack Ross and Josh Caddy come in, two nice inclusions, but there's some, there's one big player that's going to miss out tonight, and that's Dustin Martin. He's injured with a rib injury. Liam Baker also out. He is being managed. So let's have a look at the teams in depth. I'll start with the Richmond team, and I'll start in the back line. We have got Nathan Broad, Dylan Grimes and Asprey. At halfback, Sydney Stack, Vlostone and Hooley. In the centre, Marlon Pickett, Dion Prestia and Jack Graham. At half forward, Shai Bolton, Shane Edwards and Jason Castagna. And then in the forward line, at full forward, we've got Jack Higgins, Tom Lynch and Jack Rewalt. Then in the ruck, we've got Ivan Soldo, Trent Cotchin and Kane Lambert. On the bench for the Tigers, we've got Josh Caddy, Daniel Rioli, Jack Ross and Jaden Short. So that's the Tigers team. Let's have a look at the Hawks team now. Of course, they were belted last week by the Cats. We've got at fullback, we've got Sicily, Frawley, Hardwick. At the half-back line, Stratton, McAvoy, Burgoyne. In the centre, Henderson, Warple, Smith. At half-forward, Scully, O'Brien, Bruce. And then at full-forward, Gunston, Frost and Wingard. Not sure what Frost is doing up forward, but that will be very interesting to see how that all plays out. So these two teams, both coming off different results in the previous round, round 2. Of course, Richmond, on Thursday night last week, they drew to Collingwood in a game where they were scoreless, in fact, goalless in the first quarter. They could only manage 5-6-36. They managed to get away with 2 points, but that's a pretty low score from a Richmond perspective. You don't usually expect that from the Tigers. And the Hawks, well, they were good against the Cats in the first half, I thought, but then the wheels started to fall off in the second half, and in the end, it was a pretty disappointing performance. They went down by 61 points. I know it was at the Cattery, but gee, it was disappointing. Hawthorn getting defeated by the Cats 17-6, 108 to 7-5-47. They didn't score a single point in the last quarter, and they only scored 1 goal in the second half, in fact, combined. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what the response will be from Hawthorn tonight. It will also be likewise from the Richmond point of view as well. So we're about 6 minutes away from start time. Thank you very much to everyone that's tuning in. Of course, this is Richmond taking on Hawthorn, the first game of round 3 of the 2020 AFL season. Let's go back and relive the last time these two teams met. It was way back in round 9 last year. And Richmond were too strong for the Hawks. I called this game actually on a Sunday afternoon. Richmond 14-11-95 defeating the Hawks 8-11-59. Richmond have won the last 3 against the Hawks. The last 2 have been by 30-plus points. So the Tigers definitely have the wood over the Hawks coming in to this match tonight. Feel free to send through a comment throughout the broadcast. I will try and get to them where I can. Of course, I'll be focusing on the call. That will be my first priority, but I will also be taking comments where I can, and I will also be definitely answering them at half time. Let's look at the players to watch for each team tonight. And from a Richmond point of view, I think Basher Hawley is one to watch. I thought he was the best player out there for the Tigers last week. He was so good defensively, as he so often is. He finished with 26 disposals and 8 marks. So he will be one that the Hawks have to stop tonight. And a player to watch from the Hawks team, James Worpel. Thought he was a bit quiet last week against the Cats. 15 disposals, 7 marks. Not too bad, but a bit below average from what you would expect from him. The last time these two teams met, I think Worpel was able to gather 26 disposals. The Hawks did lose, but he was a big contributor in that match. So Worpel definitely capable of better, and I reckon he's a player to watch from a Hawks perspective. All right, we're about 4 minutes away from the game. We're going to have to toss the coin very, very shortly. I will just take some comments very quickly before we get to that point. So Hugh O'Brien is happy to see me by the looks of it. Julian says, what up? Not much. Josh says, why are you commentating so much? Because that's my dream, Josh. And Julian has tipped Richmond by 30 points. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting game tonight. I'm sticking with the Tigers. I think they're just a better side than the Hawks in general. I rated them better than the Hawks at the start of the season. But I'm expecting a response from the Hawks tonight. You can always expect a response from Alistair Clarkson's men. But yeah, I think Richmond will just be a little too strong. I'm expecting a bit more of a contribution from the big guys up forward, Tom Lynch and Jack Riewoldt. In particular, Jack Riewoldt, he was incredibly disappointing last week. So expecting a showing from those two. So my tip, Richmond, I'm going to tip them by about 15 to 25 points. Somewhere in that region, I will go with that. How you going, Bev? I'm good, thank you, Tristan. Hope you're well. And we've also got Dan tuning in. Get amongst it. And Josh saying to go chase my dreams. Thank you, mate. And Julian says Hawthorn had bad defence. Absolutely. I want to talk about Ben McAvoy because he played defence last week. We didn't see him in the ruck. Did we see him in the ruck last week? I'm not 100% sure, but I know he's playing defence a bit more in the early part of this season. Alistair Clarkson saying before the game that he's happy to keep persisting with that. But I tell you what, if things go horribly wrong early for the Hawks, it's going to be interesting to see if Ben McAvoy maybe slots back into the ruck. I think he's personally up there in the top 6 or 7 best ruckman in the competition. He's definitely a predominant ruck and definitely not a predominant defender in my opinion. But of course, Alistair Clarkson seems to be pretty keen to keep him at the defence. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out tonight. All right, we're about to go with the toss of the coin. It looks like the players are coming in to the middle as we see the toss of the coin between Stratton and Cochin, the two captains tonight. And it's Stratton who wins the toss and elects to go to the right of your television screen if you're watching there tonight. If you're not watching on television, then feel free to enjoy my call. I'll be trying to describe the action as best I can. So the players kneeling, of course, for Black Lives Matter. And I can't stress that enough. Black lives definitely do matter. And the scenes we have been seeing in the last couple of weeks have been terrible, especially the scenes of George Floyd's death. So a great tribute there from the players. So they're now about to make their way into their positions for the opening game of round 3 of the 2020 AFL season. And the Hawks are in their huddles now. And so are the Tigers. It's going to be very interesting to see how Jager O'Meara goes. He's a very good inclusion into tonight's game for the Hawks as the teams break. Richmond about to break. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get pumped. It is footy time. Yes, it is footy time. We're ready to go here at the MCG just about. Of course, Sean Burgoyne out there tonight. Of course, a lot spoken about him during the week with that tackle on Patrick Dangerfield. He just got away with a fine, which was lucky from his point of view. He's making his way to his position. Looks like he's going to play full forward for the time being on Dylan Grimes. There's all the Richmond teams. Ivan Soldo, Shane Edwards and Trent Cotchin in the middle. So we're ready to go here at the MCG. Thursday night footy. The opening game of round 3. And the bounce is good from the umpire underway. Segler and Soldo in the ruck. No one quite won that. Now Mitchell had the footy, lost it, tackled down by Cotchin. Now Soldo ends up with the footy, missed his target in Edwards, and now O'Meara's getting a first touch of it early. So O'Meara gets a handball away under pressure. Lambert got a slap on it, and the umpire is going to bring it back. There's been a free kick awarded to Richmond, I think. Not sure what for, as we see a bit of biff and buff from Trent Cotchin and Hardwick as Richmond go inside 50, looking for a big target of Tom Lynch. Frawley's beat him. Now a kick towards goal from a Richmond player. It was Dion Prestia. And Richmond get the first score on the board, something they didn't do. In fact, it's went out of bounds on the full. So I've called an early crow there. It just missed the lot. So playing on is Isaac Smith and kicking it to the wide side here at the MCG. Now Vlostone got a handball to Dion Prestia. They look good here early, Richmond. Edwards got it over to Marlon Pickett, of course, made his debut in the grand final last year. And then that's a very, very good kick to his teammate. And just trying to see who the teammate is. It's Shai Bolton. So Shai Bolton has taken the mark inside 50 from a kick by Marlon Pickett. Now he's directly in front here, Bolton. He's not very far away from the goals at all. So you'd expect this to be the first goal of the game. Let's have a look. He's missed it. The commentator's curse on that occasion. Shai Bolton misses to the right. And Richmond do get the first score of the match. So Sicily taking the kick out. He goes to the broadcast side. Mitchell to Wingard. He then got the kick to Burgoyne, who plays on, looks inside 50. Now, has he got a target? He's trying to go to Gunston. It goes over the heads. Vlostone was pressuring, but it looks like he's cut the arms and given away a free kick here. And Jack Gunston has a chance to slot the first goal of the match. Vlostone putting in some good pressure there, but he held the arm, and as a result, he's given away a free kick. So basically directly in front, Jack Gunston. Of course, he's one of the senior players there at the Hawthorn Football Club. In he comes, directly in front, makes no mistakes, and the Hawks are on the board with the first goal of the match. So, Hawthorn will be happy with themselves here. Of course, a poor second half against the Cats last week. They got pumped by 61 points, but tonight they've scored the first goal of the game. Jack Gunston, doesn't he love it? He loves it. So back into the middle of the MCG we go. One behind to one straight. Hawthorn in front by 5. Soldo just beat Segler. O'Meara come away with it. Now Smith to Warple. Of course, last year's best and fairest winner for the Hawks. Now goes to a packer, comes off hands. Now Scully got a handball away. Stack had it, lost it, spilled it to Burgoyne. Burgoyne tries to hit up Bruce. A good intercept there by Asprey. And then Caddy forces it over the line. And we're going to have a boundary throw in just on the edge of the Hawks forward 50. So, what will Hawthorn dish out from this stoppage? Ball comes in. Segler front spot, won the footy. Now Broad got a handball away to Grimes. He turned it over, gave it straight to Bruce, and then he goes to the top of the goal square. Wingard, he's hung on to it. He fumbled it a little bit. Stack couldn't quite contain him, and Wingard plays on around the body. Smack bang. Hawks, they have the first 2 goals of the match. Incredible start from the Hawks, and Richmond have a bit to think about here. They have a bit to think about in the early stages of this contest. So let's have a look at the replay. And it was Broad coughing it up. And giving the handball straight to Bruce, who then went to the top of the goal square. Wingard was able to mark it after a couple of fumbles, and then around the body he went. Made no mistake of it. 2 straight 12. Hawthorn lead Richmond, 1 behind. And we have played just over, or just nearly 6 minutes in this game. So back in the middle. Soldo won that one. Now getting a kick away for the Hawks was Ross. Now ending up with the footy, Sicily. O'Meara got it to Stratton. And then he sends it to the wing broadcast side. There's been a free kick awarded here to Richmond, is it? Yep, it's going to go to Richmond, and it's going to go to Jaden Short, who just got taken out there by Jonathan Patton. So, inside 50, Richmond go. Tom Lynch in amongst the pack. It comes off the packet onto Liam Shields, who kicks it down the broadcast side. Now, Richmond have the numbers here, and they gather the footy. And now, Hooley has the footy. Lost it. Cotchin was able to gather it. Then he got a handball over the top in the caddy direction. Sicily came out to get it. Now Warple to Stratton. Bangs it down the line. And that's a very good mark by Richmond's David Asprey. So Asprey, centre wing, gives the handball off to a teammate. He goes inside 50. Can someone mark for the Tigers? Soldo's there, but Hawthorn was able to defend well. But now Richmond keep it inside 50. Edwards had it, lost it, coughed up the handball, and O'Meara was able to clean it up and get the handball off to the flank. The kick off to the flank to Shields. So Shields down the line. Patton nearly had it. Now the ball bubbling around at ground level. Hanrahan tried to grab it. Cotchin pressured, lost the footy, tried to give the handball away, and then a kick off the ground by a Tigers player. I think it might have been potentially Broad. And has the umpire paid deliberate for that? I think he's paid deliberate. Or was it out of bounds on the full? Not sure, but gee whiz, I hope he didn't pay deliberate. Can't see how that was deliberate. Anyway, the Hawks have the footy now. Stratton gives the handball off to Sicily. Sicily kicks it down the line here on the broadcast wing. Packer player Soldo had it, lost it. Broad got a handball away before being tackled, and Hooley was able to spoil it out of play before Bruce was able to hang on to it. And it's going to be a boundary throw in, very close to the Hawks forward 50. So good boundary throw in from the umpire. Soldo and O'Brien in the ruck. Soldo won it cleanly. It ended up with Henderson. Henderson got the handball close to the line. O'Meara and Cotchin went for the footy, but the ball has been forced out of play for another boundary throw-in. So Richmond just have had a couple of inside 50s, but no score to think about from it. So Cochin got it from the hit out. Now the ball bubbling around at ground level. Cochin to Bolton, was able to come away with it, and then Bolton turns it over. And Stratton has the footy. So again, Richmond getting an inside 50. But no score to speak about. Looks like it's going to be a 50 here. Not sure what for. Maybe potentially in the protected zone. So Stratton gets a free kick. Now he's going to handball off to Smith. Smith's going to bang it inside 50. Can someone mark for the Hawks? They have the numbers. O'Brien nearly did. Bruce with the crumb and the goal. Brilliant snap from Luke Bruce. And Hawthorn had the first 3 goals of the game. Wowee diddly dee. Don't forget, Collingwood, they scored the first 4 goals against the Tigers last week, so we've seen this all before. The Tigers getting off to a terrible start once again in this match, and the Hawks, they're all over them at the moment. And O'Brien, he nearly took a really good mark. And what about Bruce with the crumb? That was superb. As we see the Hawks fans watching around Australia tonight through the Toyota fan zone, which is being shown on Channel 7 tonight. So back we go. 18-1, Hawthorn in front. Dinky little bounce from the umpire. Now it was O'Brien who was able to beat Lynch in the ruck. Now it's going to be a free kick here to the Tigers. And it's going to be Jack Ross, who's coming tonight, replaced Dustin Martin, of course. And that kick was very terrible. It went straight to Henderson on the back flank. Now Henderson plays on quickly, and they handball it around here, the Hawks. It gets to Bruce. Now Bruce kicks it down the line. That's a good kick to Burgoyne. They're out here, the Hawks. There's a player all by himself there on the forward flank. It's Gunston. Dear, oh dear, Richmond being pulled apart defensively right now. Gunston has marked it on the forward flank. He's on an angle, but I dare say he can kick this. He's capable of kicking this, Gunston. We're about to see if he can. He's already scored 1 tonight. In fact, he scored the first goal of the match. That free kick given away. And it's coming back from the right. And it goes through for a behind. So Vlostone with the footy on the back pocket. Patton, good mark. I think the kick was intended for Caddy, who's the inclusion for tonight's match, but Patton was able to snap it up. Now high ball inside 50. Gunston's there. O'Brien's there. They all got a piece of it. Now Cochin ends up with the footy, gives it to Ross. Ross sends it down the line, but the Hawks might come straight back in here. McAvoy takes the mark over the top to Wingard. He already has a goal to his name tonight. Now he kicks it to the back flank. Patton takes the mark. Gee, the Hawks are looking good here at the moment in the early stages of this match. Patton looks inside 50. Kick to the top of the goal square. Let's see if someone can mark for the Hawks. It come off Burgoyne. O'Brien had a piece of it. Ball spills to ground. Now trying to burst his way out is Dion Prestia, and he's been taken high. So Richmond need to take a breath here. They need to settle, because at the moment the Hawks have got a hand on this game. Kick comes out to the wing. I think it was Sicily who got a fist to it, and it goes out of play for a boundary throwing close to the Hawks forward 50. And that man there, Alistair Clarkson, will be very happy with what he's seen from his troops tonight. So back into play. Patton and Lynch it was in the ruck. Lynch got a piece of it. O'Meara, though. Handball to Hanrahan. Now to Henderson. Now to Sicily. Back to Henderson. Back to Sicily. They worked it well there, the Hawks. Sicily goes inside 50 for a long kick. Velosto with the 2 punches. Now a chance here for the Hawks. O'Brien. Mitchell. Quick hands to O'Meara. O'Meara bouncing it through into an open goal. And guess what, folks? The Hawks have the first 4 goals of the match here at the home of footy. Ho ho! Who saw this coming? Who knows? Very different from last Thursday. Absolutely, absolutely. I think since the Thursday game, we got to see some really opened up games and some high-scoring games, maybe except, well, the Giants and North was a high-scoring game in the end. But back on this subject, and my goodness me, Richmond, they just can't get it out of the Hawks forward 50 at the moment. Now they can reset for the centre bounce and hopefully get it from their point of view inside their forward 50. So the Hawks with the first 4 goals of the game. It's 25-1. Hawley kicks it off the ground after fumbling it. Now trying to burst his way through is Scrimshaw. He got a handball away. Smith, well done from Smith. Was able to stand the pressure and get the handball to O'Meara, who then goes to the flank. Now nearly marking it there for the Tigers was Asprey. Now Vlosto received a handball and sent it short to Prestia, who takes the mark at full back just about. So they're going to switch it here, the Tigers. And receiving the kick there was Short. He goes down the line. Marlon Picker got a fist to it. Now trying to pick up the footy is Frost. Smith to a teammate. Back to Smith. He's fighting his way through with the opposition, but the umpire's going to ball it up after they couldn't separate themselves. So quick ball up. Wingard, Prestia, and I think there's going to be a free kick to the Hawks. It looks like it's going to go to Oliver Hanrahan. I remember last year I was calling him with the bunk out with the Bird Out Show and he kicked his first goal. Can't remember what that game was, but the kick goes down the line, comes off hand. Sydney Stack was there. Hawley got a handball to Sydney Stack, the man I just mentioned. Now he goes back to Grimes, back to Sydney Stack, and then kicks through the corridor. Prestia was there, but he didn't really want it by the looks of it. And now the Hawks go back inside 50. It's repeat inside 50s for the Hawks, but the kick has been coughed up by Vlostone. So, nearly 16 minutes played in this match. We're about to head in to time on. Of course, 16 plus time on. And of course, the quarters this season, part of COVID-19. The ball goes inside 50 for the Hawks, but it's been punched out for a boundary throw-in. Looks like there's a few people watching the go for the Tigers. As the ball comes back into play. Segler beats Soldo. Caddy got a handball to Short, who then got a handball to Sydney Stack. And now they can go here, the Tigers. Marlon Pickett up the line. Lynch nearly marked it at the second attempt. Now kick off the ground was Dinky from Hardwick. And then he went back to get his own footy and then fumbled it. Then the kick off the ground from a Hawks player who I couldn't quite see. Now Mitchell had a piece of it. The ball at ground level. They're all fighting their way through it. Mitchell got it out cleverly to Frost. And then Frost bounces it to Asprey, who was able to pick it up slightly but then spilled it out of play for a boundary throw-in. So Richmond having all the time inside 50 so far. They've had 10 inside 50s to 4. We haven't seen this from the Tigers for a while. We don't usually expect this from the Tigers. As Segler just grabs it out of the ruck. Gee whiz, that was too easy. Then goes inside 50. O'Brien nearly marked it. Patton got a clever handball to Hanrahan, who then got it to Smith. Kicks it towards the goal and Flostone fumbled it over the line for a rush behind. So Hawthorn get their second behind of the night. 4-2-26 to 1 behind. Hawthorn lead by 25 points. Caddy kicks it down the broadcast side. Pack of players. Nearly marking it there was Frost. Now Burgoyne ends up with the footy. Got the handball away to Shields. And that's a good squaring kick inside 50 to the best and fairest of last season, James Warple. You gotta love this bloke. He's got a chance to kick his first goal of the night, and this is starting to get a little ugly, especially if the Hawks kick this goal. So Warple directly in front. This for the first 5 goals of the match. The kick's on its way. It's missed. It's missed. It's missed to the left. So we've played nearly 20 minutes as Richmond try to work it outside their defensive 50. Grimes has it at the back pocket. He's going to switch it across the goal face here. Risky stuff. Taking the mark, Sydney Stack. Now Stack to the interchange side. And taking the mark was Jack Graham. So Graham down the line. Pack of players. Rewalt! He's marked that. Beautiful. Sensational. Got on the second attempt. Now he runs around, kicks it inside 50, but there's a bunch of Hawks players there. And as a result, Ben McAvoy easily takes the mark. So Richmond just not making the most of their inside 50s. Hardwick has it at fullback. Kicks it short to Tom Mitchell, of course, the Brownlow medalist of a couple of years ago. He's got it to the back flank. And Smith takes the mark, got it to Warple, back to Smith. Now to Henderson. Quick hands to O'Meara. He has 2 Tigers to beat. He backtracks and gets the hairball to Smith. Then back to Henderson. Kicks it to a 2-on-1 favouring Richmond. Edwards was able to win it. Now Marlon Pickett. He takes on his opponent. Kicks it inside 50. It's a low spearing kick. And it's gone straight to big boy McAvoy. So with 2.5 to go, McAvoy kicks it to the broadcast side. He finds his teammate in Scully. Now Scully handballs it over the top to Sicily, who takes a run, nearly turns it over. Soldo couldn't quite take the mark. Hawthorn mop up. Segler got it to Scrimshaw, kicks it inside 50. Richmond had the numbers, and that's a really good mark from David Asprey. So David Asprey back flank, I should say. Got the kick to Flostone at fullback. Now he sends it out to the back flank to Short. He plays on, takes on his opponent in not sure who it was, but Richmond have turned it over to Frost. So Frost to Wingard. Now Wingard just kicks it short to the boundary line. Henderson has the footy. Hawthorn just controlling this right now with nearly a minute to go. He kicks it inside 50, pack of players. Lambert got a touch to it. Ball spills to space. Forward flank for the Hawks, and the ball rolls over the line for a boundary throw-in. So back in it comes. Segler got a hand to it. Ball spills to ground. Coming in is Mitchell. Richmond piled on him, and with 55 seconds to go, it's going to be a ball up inside the Hawks forward 50. Gee whiz, Richmond, they might want to be goalless once again going into the quarter-time break. Of course, goalless with 1 behind last weekend as Marlon Pickett tries to gather the hit out. He then gets a second attempt at it, got a handball away to Short, who was forced out of play, ran out of room, so a boundary throw-in inside the Hawks forward 50. So what does that man do? Damien Hardwick. What does he do? For the second week in a row, it looks like the Tigers are going to be goalless Going into the quarter-time break, no one won that ruck contest. Henderson just slapped it forward. Now coming in to gather the footy, Lamb, and he kicked it around the body. It was a rush kick. Smith nearly marked it. Got the handball away to Hardwick. Then got the handball back to Sicily, who bangs it to the top of the goal square. Brewster's there. Richmond got a hand on it. Ball spills to ground. Stack has the footy. Wrapped up by Segler. O'Brien got it out. It's holding the ball. Holding the ball, and the Hawks are going to get a free kick directly in front. Not sure who's going to take it. We're going to find out shortly, but Sydney Stack has been pinged. He drew the footy back in, and we know that when a player does that, he's always going to be pinged. So a free kick here to, it looks like Jonathan Segler. The siren is about to sound, so this is going to be a kick after the siren. This would be for the first 5 goals of the match. Damien Hardwick can't believe it. He's looking in disgust as Jonathan Segler comes in, kicks it straight through the diddly-do. And this is an unbelievable start from the Hawks. They lead at quarter time. 1 behind Richmond to 5-3-33. Can you believe what we've just witnessed in the first quarter? This is an unbelievable fight back from the Hawks after getting pumped by 61 points last week. So just repeating the quarter time score, Richmond 1 behind to Hawthorn 5-3-33. Unbelievable start, as I said. Unbelievable start. Let's go through the goal kickers. It was all Hawthorn. Jager O'Meara, Jonathan Segler, Jack Gunston, Chad Wingard and Bruce with singles. And leading the disposals right now, Isaac Smith. He's had a lot of the footy. James Sicily has had 8 disposals. Smith has had 12, by the way, and then the highest disposal getter for Richmond is Jaden Short with 7 disposals. So a lot to think about from a Richmond perspective. Once again, just repeating the quarter time score. It is Richmond 1 behind to the Hawthorn Football Club 5-3-33 at quarter time. Don't go anywhere. The second quarter coming your way very shortly. But for now, I'm going to take a quick break. So welcome back to Bev's Footy Calls. It's Richmond taking on Hawthorn at the MCG quarter time. And you can see the score up there on the screen. It is Richmond goalless once again for the second week in a row at quarter time. One straight behind to Hawthorn, 5-3-33. Gee whiz, I can't believe Hawthorn started in that fashion. Can Richmond find their way back? Well, of course they can, but gee, they're going to have to be better in that second term and for the remaining minutes of the game. Let's have a look at some comments. Commentary Gold, thank you. I appreciate the kind feedback. Of course, it's not easy calling sometimes, but I'm learning as I go, and I'm always striving to improve myself. Bev, you could be compared to Cadezo. I'm not sure who Cadezo is, sorry, Julian, but I'm sure you can tell me all about that. Yes, Smith has got 12 disposals at the quarter-time break. Someone's called me a king. Thank you, Mitch. I appreciate that. 7, Sicily. Yeah, Sicily has been in amongst it all opening term, that is for sure. And yeah, Ricky Henderson's also been in amongst it as well. 6 touches for Henderson at the quarter-time break. Let's have a look at some fantasy scores, because I know you all love your fantasy. And it's Isaac Smith and Wingard leading the charge at the moment in terms of fantasy points, 32 apiece. And then Jaden Short with 26 and Jonathan Segler with 26 as well. And then just behind with 25 is the defender, James Sicily. Zara for Life comes in and says, hi. Hello, Zara. Hope you're well. Thank you very much for tuning in. So we're not far away from the second term. And really looking forward to seeing how Richmond can respond in the second quarter after Hawthorn blew them away in that first term. No, I have not been going to the gym. 12 touches, Smith. Yeah, 12 touches. So, yeah, wow, what a start from the Hawks. I know I've said that a couple of times, but yeah, unbelievable, that is for sure. Beautiful night by the looks of it there at the MCG. And, of course, no Dustin Martin tonight. Of course, that would have played a bit of an impact in the first quarter for sure. And I'm sure that will have an impact as the game goes on. But you'd think there'd be other players in that team that can step up in the absence of Dusty. So we're not far away from the second term as we await. Looks like the players are in their positions and ready to go. Richmond have had most time inside 50 between the two teams. And when Richmond have had it inside 50, they haven't made the most of it. So we're nearly ready to go. The disposal count, by the way, Hawthorn 96 to 30 something, I think it was. So that's a pretty big margin as we get the second term underway. So it's a 32-point lead to Hawthorn at the quarter-time break. Second quarter underway. And O'Meara ends up with the footy. Quick hands to Mitchell. Now to Warple. Gee, some good midfielders combining there. Now Segler to Smith. High ball up in the air. Wasn't a great one. And as a result, taking the mark was Caddy. So he goes out wide to Sydney Stack. Oh, Sydney Stack's handball was smothered. Hawley came in to mop up the mess. Lost it. Vlostone to Grimes. Bangs it down the line. And taking the mark there on the wing. I think it might be, is it Higgins, I think. We haven't seen Higgins a lot in this game. He kicks it down the line. McAvoy came from somewhere to spoil that. Now ball at ground level. Soldo, quick hands to Rewald. Kicks it inside 50. Hawks have the numbers though. Smith is being pressured by Sydney. No, it was Bolton actually. And then Lynch to Bolton. And Bolton kicks it through. And Richmond at long last on the board with their first goal. Beautiful harassing there from Bolton on Smith. And as a result, they come away with a goal there, Richmond, from that bit of play. And that's what they needed to start the second term, especially if they're going to get back into this match. So having a look at the replay, well, didn't look like the greatest of kick because Hawks had the numbers, but like I said, Bolton, beautiful pressure. And then what was even more good about it was he was able to get back up and receive the handball from Lynch and kick the goal. So fantastic work. That's the play of the round so far for mine. Of course, it's only the first game of the round, so we've still got plenty to come. But that was a very good bit of play by Shy Bolton. So back in the middle, not the greatest of bounce from the umpire. No one really won that ruck contest. It comes out for Marlon Pickett, who tries to burst his way through. Nearly gets pinged by Warple. Got a kick away. Now Brewster Smith. Smith goes for goal and delivers. Hawthorn with a quick reply. And the margin goes back out to 36. So that's not what the Tigers would have wanted. They just got their first goal of the game, and then all of a sudden the Hawks with the quick reply, putting the margin back out. And what about the kick from Isaac Smith? Marlon Pickett was under all sorts of pressure. The ball spilt out, and a beautiful handball from Brewster Smith, and Smith went bang, 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 bang. So back in the middle, Segler won the tap. Segler then got it back and got the kick away. So Hawthorn with another clearance. Vlostone has pressure, has company, but was able to take on Bruce. And then holding the ball. No, he's been pushed in the back. So luckily Vlostone gets the free kick after that little scare. He goes out wide to Asprey, I think it is, on the back flank. So Asprey looking down the line and kicking it to near the interchange. McAvoy got hands on it, short to Hawley. They handball it around here. The Tigers, Lambert. Handball cut off by McAvoy. And now Burgoyne, quick hands to Shields. He goes inside 50 with a long kick, and that's a very good defensive mark by the All-Australian defender, Dylan Grimes. Now he goes quickly out to the far wing. Now Caddy, quick hands to Broad it is. Nathan Broad, and then he goes down the line to Prestia. Stratton came in to chop the arms off and getting the free kick there. Actually, it's Jack Higgins. So Jack Higgins with a big kick inside 50 pack of players. The two big men there for the Tigers, but the Hawks big men in big boy McAvoy takes the mark. Gee whiz, he is proving to be a really good defender tonight. He's been everywhere inside that defence as Mitchell handballs it to Shields on the interchange wing, back to Mitchell. Now Mitchell, very good handball to Warple, and then he goes to Hanrahan. Quick kick inside the centre square. It lands in the hands of Jaden Short. So Tom Scully couldn't quite get there in time, and Jaden Short has the footy in the centre square. Close to the AFL logo. He kicks it to the top of the Richmond 50. Hawthorn spoil it. Smith got it from the pack and then got the 1-2. He kicks it down the line to a 1-on-1. Scully was the target. He got hands to it, but Richmond tried to mop up here. Sydney Stack received a handball from Hawley and then got taken high by Sean Burgoyne. So Grimes now has the footy on the far wing after receiving the kick from Sydney Stack. Now he just kicks it down the corridor. It works its way inside 50, but it landed in the hands of Stratton. Now McAvoy, quick hands to O'Meara. McAvoy, in fact it was Frost actually who got the handball to O'Meara. Now he kicks it down the line to a 1-on-1, and it looks like it's going to be a free kick here to the Tigers. So Dylan Grimes, All-Australian defender of 2019, has got the footy. He was superb last year, wasn't he? And he's the key to that Richmond defence, isn't he? As he goes short to Hawley. Oh, Hawley went for the kick and dropped it. He's going to go back inside defence to Grimes. Now Grimes sends it to the centre square. Edwards Kicked it wide to Jaden Short. Interchange wing. Now, where does Jaden Short go? They're struggling a bit here, the Tigers. You don't often see it from the reigning premiers. Kicks it down the line. Pack of players. The two big men in there for the Tigers. Now coming away with the footy is Jack Graham. And Graham just kicks it to space. Frost tries to gather it, but he just let it go out of bounds in the finish. So it's going to be a ball in deep inside the Tigers' forward 50. So back into play. Segler kicks it to Warple. So Warple sends it down the line. Interchange side. Oh, Patton nearly marked it. Burgoyne the crumb. Now Scully it was. Got the handball over to Hanrahan, who then got it to Wingard. Now Wingard has time here, and as a result, he picks out Gunston. Gunston, he's already kicked a goal in this match. He's outside 50. Can he spear home another one? Let's have a look. It looks like he's going to go in that direction. Gee, this would be a big blow to the Tigers. 1-1 to be exact. Beautiful, beautiful kick there by Wingard as Gunston goes for the goal and he misses the lot. Misses the lot. And the Tigers are going to get a free kick here. And taking that free kick is Josh Caddy, one of the two inclusions into tonight's Richmond team. Grimes has the footy. Kicks it short to Basher Hawley. He was superb last week. 26 disposals, as I said, pre-match. He's got it at the back pocket. He's looking down the interchange wing. He kicks it in that direction. Pack of players forming. Rewalt nearly marked it. McAvoy had it, lost it. Now slapping it to Rewalt was, I think, Edwards. Dribbling ball, not the greatest. It got to Frawley. Now Frawley goes back to Hardwick, and then Hardwick, nice kick. Very nice to Scully, I think it is. Now Scully got it to the AFL logo, and taking the mark for the Hawks was, I think it might have been Segler. Now McAvoy got the handball away to Scrimshaw. Short kick, top of the 50, O'Meara. Oh, beautiful mark, and then an even better kick to Warple. He couldn't quite mark it, but Scully was able to mop up. Then get the handball away to, I think it might have been Scrimshaw. Richmond now mop up here, and they try to make their way outside the defensive 50, and they do that. They kick it down the line to the far wing. Shy Bolton trying to beat Hardwick. He gathers the 40, but then spills it. Warple. Quick hands to Scully. Inside 50. Gunston had a piece of it. The umpire's picked out a free kick here. It's going to go to, it looks like, Tim O'Brien. Wearing Buddy Franklin's old number, 23. And he's going to get his first look at the goals for tonight. So Tim O'Brien. He's on a slight angle. The kick's on its way. It looks good. It looks very good. And the Hawks have another. So Tim O'Brien on the board with his first goal. Just got a few comments coming in about the awkward silence. Just bear in mind that I'm commentating the game by myself. So I don't think it is a bad thing that I'm taking just a couple of seconds at the at every goal to just take a little bit of a breath. Otherwise, I'm going to start spilling my words. So please do respect that. I probably would normally be reeling off some stats, but because I'm commentating by myself, I'm taking a little bit of time to take a little bit of a breath before the next bit of play. So just bear that in mind. Bear that in mind, please. Have some respect. As we see some fans on the Channel 7 broadcast. So back in the middle we go. 45-7. Hawthorn have complete control of this match at the moment. And Richmond don't look like they're going to turn it around at the moment. It was short. In fact, no, it was It was Ross. Got it to a teammate who kicked it to the wing. Now coming in Scrimshaw, being hassled by the Tigers. And it might be holding the ball, is it? No, I think the umpire might be throwing it up. It was a good tackle nonetheless by Dylan Rioli. So Ray Chamberlain umpiring tonight. Segler, beautiful. To Smith. Kick was smothered. Now O'Meara, hassled by Bolton, and the ball goes out of play for a boundary throw-in. By the way, Smith, 17 disposals. In fact, 18 disposals now. Jaden Short is the highest for the Tigers with 10 as the ball comes back into play. Lynch got a fist to it. Now Edwards got it to a teammate. The ball was smothered. Now Segler. Handball back to a teammate who kicks it up in the air. High ball. Flostone leaped at it. Couldn't get a hand to the footy. Now Hanrahan to Gunston. Squares the ball up. Richmond have the numbers to deal with this. It goes overheads. Sydney Stack hunts for the footy. Dion Presti gives the quick hands to Broad. And then Broad tries to get a kick out to Higgins. Higgins being a little held. And it looks like he's going to get the free kick. So Jack Higgins with the free, and the Tigers, they sent it outside the defensive 50 quickly. Now Cochin did well, took on Wingard, then got the handball off to Basher Hawley, who takes a couple of a couple of bounces. Then he handballs over the top to Soldo, who goes to a one-on-one. Jack Rewald, he didn't mark it. He takes on Hardwick. That was very messy by Jack Rewald, and Warple gets it to Scrimshaw, and the Hawks make it outside their defensive 50. Dear oh dear, Rewald, he wanted a one-on-one, and he didn't mark it at the crucial moment. Vlosto nearly marked the footy. Has it been paid? I think it has. It has. Gee whiz. No, it hasn't. It hasn't. Vlosto leaped to the footy on the back of Wingard, and it's going to be a ball up. He didn't quite hang on to it. So Segler, Patton, beautiful hit out. Segler dominating in the ruck at the moment. Oh, Burgoyne! The kick off the ground, come off the umpire and out of bounds on the full. Oh, it's been paid as well. What was that? Oh, I've never seen anything like it. And the kick comes to a pack. And Ray Chamberlain has paid a free kick to the Tigers. Wow, I couldn't believe that. So 45-7. What are the Tigers going to do to get back into this match? Dion Prestia, yes, has the footy. Centre wing. He's looking inside 50. It looks like he's going to kick it in that direction. Hasn't worked so far when they go inside 50. Leaping up was Caddy. Hawks get a toe poke off the ground. And the Hawks come away with it. Segler receives a handball. Kick was ricocheted. Dion Prestia got a fist to, I think it might have been Caddy. Now he goes out wide to Hawley and he makes a meal of it, and the ball goes out of play for a boundary throw in. So ball back into play. Segler, kick off the ground by a Hawks player. Now Pickett was able to gather the footy after some help from his teammate Higgins. Nearly pushed in the back. Now Scrimshaw gets the toe poke to McAvoy, who picks it up. Quick hands to Sicily. And then Sicily short kick to Frost. And then Frost quickly goes out wide. And the Hawks have the footy here. They can take a bit of time to try and work it inside their forward 50. Nearly 5 minutes to go in this second quarter. Kick goes to a one-on-one. Burgoyne got hands to it. Now Asprey got the 1-2 from Vlostone. Kicks it down the wing. Hawthorn had the numbers. McAvoy nearly marked it. It spilled into Higgins' hands, but the mark has been paid. So McAvoy goes down the wing. And Mitchell gave a handball off and the kick comes down the line. O'Brien in amongst a pack. It comes off hands to Burgoyne. And a free kick going to the All-Australian defender in Dylan Grimes, who's been held by Jonathan Patton, one of the Hawks' newest recruits for season 2020. So down the line, Vlostone tried to mark it, got a second attempt of it though, and then made a meal of it, kicked it out of bounds on the full. So we haven't had a goal for a while. Just a bit of end-to-end stuff at the moment from both teams. In fact, it looked like it bounced out of play by the looks of it and went out of bounds. So a boundary throw in centre wing. I thought it might have went out of play on the full. Segler just grabs it out of the ruck and then gets it to O'Meara, who took on one, took on two. Then kicks it towards the 50. O'Brien had a look of it, didn't quite mark it though. Grimes mopped up, handball to Pickett, back to Grimes. Now Grimes goes over the top to Soldo. Now Soldo puts it in front of Bolton. He was pressured though, and Frost got it to O'Meara, back to Frost, and Frost kick was kicked into his own player in Segler. Now the ball's at ground level. Coming in is Pickett, and the umpires pulled out a free kick here. Not sure what for, but O'Meara has the footy. So Henderson on the wing now has received the kick, and then he goes over the top to the Brownlow medalist of 2018. It's Tom Mitchell. Gee, we missed him last season, didn't we? It's great to see him back out there. Now he kicks inboard to O'Meara. So O'Meara looks down the line, kicks it in that direction. Pack of players leaping up was O'Brien. Ball out the back to Asprey. Now Vlostone takes off with the footy. Quick hands to Edwards, who fumbled the footy. Now ball spills to ground level. Mitchell got a quick hands to Henderson. It comes out to O'Meara, to Mitchell, now to Warple. Now Pickett's got the footy. It's been turned over here. He spills it. Coming in is Dion Prestia. He managed to get a handball away to Cochin. Cochin to Soldo. Tried to get the don't argue. That was fantastic by Soldo. Gave the quick hands to Prestia, and Prestia turns it over. And taking the mark was Sicily, and Rewalt has taken Sicily high. In fact, it was in the hit region, so not quite high. But it looks like Sicily might be getting a 50. Just a late little arm to the hip. So 45-7 with nearly 2.5 to go in this second term. I will be answering some comments at halftime, by the way. It is a little bit hard to answer comments during the match because I am focusing on the call. So Sicily looks like he's going to perhaps go for goal or kick it to the top of the goal square. He does just that. Kick it to the top of the goal square. And holding his ground, Marlon Pickett. He couldn't quite handball it, but it spilt to Vlostone, and Frost. He's close to the line. He keeps it in. Kicks it to a pack of players. It comes off hands. Grimes under pressure. Gave the handball in the Dion Prestia direction. Quickly handballed it to Stack. Now to Short. To Stack. To Ross, I think it was. And now they make their way out to centre wing here, and Lynch takes the mark. So Hooley now receives a kick. Gee, what are Richmond going to do? They've only managed one goal in this game so far. It's not good enough from a Richmond perspective. Cochin has the footy close to the interchange. He kicks it to the top of the 50. It's the flank region. That's a good mark by Lynch. Just behind Stratton, was able to use his size and his height, and then kicks it short to Caddy. So Caddy outside 50. With 1:10 remaining on the clock. Caddy looks to the top of the goal square. He kicks in that direction. Hoping for a mark. Oh, Edwards received the spoil and went bang. And Richmond had their second goal of the match. Edwards, of course, kicking the first goal of the season way back in round 1. It was about 3 and a bit months ago now. And that was a goal that Richmond needed heading into half-time to keep themselves in it. So let's have a look at this. It come off the hands and it worked out well because Edwards was all alone in the goal square, the second half of the goal square. And he was able to kick it through with no hassle. And the Richmond fans on the Toyota fan zone absolutely love it. So with 59 seconds remaining, the Tigers, they get their second goal of the match. It's 2 goals apiece in this second term, so it's been quite even, but we haven't seen a lot of goals. Now, Richmond are going to get the free kick here. It's going to go to Trent Cotchin, so perhaps another chance for the Tigers. Kicks it inside 50. Rewalt. Frost was able to spoil it. Edwards at ground level received the footy. Lambert now squaring it up. Hawthorn got hands to it. Now what's going on here? It looks like it might be a free kick to Jackie boy. No, it's going to go to Tim O'Brien. Tim O'Brien just gotten high there. So Tim O'Brien comes out to the broadcast side. Coming in from the side was Gunston, couldn't quite mark it. Now Broad, quick hands to Ross. Ross goes to a one-on-one. Hawthorn just slap it back in the direction it come from. Now Cotchin, ball up in the air from a kick. It was Graham who couldn't quite mark it. Ball spills to ground. Warple dive for the footy. Ball kept in and Flostone takes it out of play. He appeals for the high, but he's not going to get it. So 9 seconds to go in this second term. Ball comes back into play. One-on-one in the ruck. No one really won that. Smith trying to pick it up. Bolton picked it up. Cotchin's got it. Smith tries to kick it. And O'Meara ends up with the 40, but that's going to be it. That's the first half done and dusted. And the first half belongs to the Hawks. They lead at halftime. 7-3-45, leading the Tigers 2-1-13. So Hawthorn, unbelievable from them. As we have a look at the goal kickers, we'll start with the Tigers. And it was singles to Edwards and Bolton. While for the Hawks, all singles to O'Meara, Smith, Segler, Gunston, Wingard, Bruce, and O'Brien. Let's have a look at some leading disposal getters. And Isaac Smith is having a very good game at the moment. 21 disposals, 1 goal to add to his name. O'Meara with 15 disposals. Mitchell with 14. And then Grimes with 13 disposals. So let's have a look at some fantasy points before we go to a break and then get to your comments on the other side of the break. Smith with a whopping 67 fantasy points at the halftime break, followed by Jonathan Segler with 55 fantasy points, Grimes with 48, and then Warple with 46. Luke Bruce, he's had a good game so far. 1 goal, 6 disposals. He's done his bit in the first half. I'm sure he'll contribute in the second half. Gee, the Tigers, they're going to have to do a lot of work to try and get back into this match in the second half. Do not go anywhere. I've got the second half coming up for you very soon. I'll be answering your comments as well on the other side of this. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Bev's Footy Calls. This is round 3, and it is Richmond trailing the Hawks at halftime 2-1, 13 to 7, 3:45. Now is the time of the night where I am going to answer your comments. So let's have a look at some comments. We've got Julian, who said he has to go now. Bye. Thank you for the great podcast. Thank you, Julian. But it looks like he's stuck around because he's popped in a few comments here. He says, I love your commentating. Thank you. We've got our own statistician in the comments tonight. Juvenile Dorco, can't say the last. Is it to Coke? I don't know. But anyway, he comes in and says 67 Fantasy Smith, 55 Segler, and 46 Warple. Who is your favourite Tiger and Hawks player right now? Not sure if I really have one, but if I had to pick one, I'd probably go Jack Riewoldt from the Tigers. Actually, Dustin Martin I'm a really big fan of, but I think I'd have to go Jack Riewoldt just because he's Tasmanian. And who from the Hawks? Probably maybe Warple. I'm really impressed with him and how well he's moved up the ranks. Bev, it seems that you pronounce Vlostone as Vlostone. That's how it's actually pronounced, Nicholas. Vlostone, which is exactly what you've said. Yeah, Vlostone is how it's pronounced. So I think I'm pronouncing it correct because I've always looked on it and made sure that I was pronouncing it right. It's Vlostone. 23 inside 50s. Yes, thank you. 13 hitouts. How many clearances, hitouts, and inside 50s for the Hawks? We'll go through some of the stats actually. So we'll start with the inside 50s. 23 to 14. The Hawks it's in their favour. The handballs are 79 to 72 in the Hawks' favour, and the kicks are 100 to 81 in the Hawks' favour. Disposals, the Hawks 179 to 153. And then having a look at the hitouts, the Hawks are smashing the hitouts right now, 13 to 7. Clearances 13 to 9 in favour of the Hawks. What else did you want to know? The clearances, hitouts, I think I've already answered those. Having a look at some other comments. This is so good. What is happening with the Tigers? Yeah, the Tigers disappointing at the moment, especially that first quarter. Felt like they got themselves back in the match a little bit in that second quarter, but probably not enough at this stage. They're going to have to really work they're going to have to really work their butts off if they're going to get back into this match in the second half. I mean, you look at their score from last week, 5-6-36. Was that a one-off, or are they really a team that's going to struggle to score in 2020? That's what it seems like at the moment after watching this first half of footy and then looking back at the game last week, which of course I called here on this YouTube channel. How's the umps going to get the Tigers out of this one? I don't think the umps are going to do anything, to be honest, Russie. I don't think they're going to be doing anything of that nature. They'll just be paying what they see. Are you going to do a Saturday or a Friday footy call? Just sticking to Thursdays at the moment. Hopefully my next call will be next Thursday with the Dogs and the Swans, which is going to be interesting, calling the team that I barrack for. But yeah, just sticking to the Thursday night matches at the present. I'm hoping that the Bunk Out with the Burnout show, a guy that I called with regularly last year, hoping that he'll be available in the coming weeks, and I might be doing some Friday calls with him. But at the moment, I am just going to be sticking to the Thursday calls. Don't want to do too much. It is pretty tough calling by yourself. I find it very tough to call by myself with no one alongside me or no one to speak with. So just going to keep it at one game around for the moment. I could go for Collingwood versus Saints footy call. Too bad that is not tonight, so Bev will not commentate it. No, that's exactly right, Jake. All right, we'll take a few more comments. We're going to get into some team news very shortly. Go into have a look at who's in and who's out for the up-and-coming matches for round 3. There's some big ins and some big outs for all teams, so looking forward to sharing that. Please keep the comments appropriate, please. We're not a drug. This is not a drug program. It's Dutch. The V is pronounced as F. Yeah, that's what I've been saying, Nicholas. It is Vlostone, and that's what I believe I've been calling it as throughout the whole night. Nice for next week. I love to be here. Your version of Press Red for Ed. Yeah, I probably won't be doing that, but I'll just be calling it regularly. To be honest, I'm not going to call it in a biased way, even though that's probably something that people would like to see. Don't forget the Tassie Devils coach career is happening here on the YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for that. We're in the 3rd season now, and the Devils, hopefully in the next episode, will start to get some consistency, so looking forward to that. Going to take a short break. After the break, going to get in and have a look at the team news for the rest of round 3, so stick around. That's coming up very shortly. All right, welcome back to Bev's Footy Calls, Richmond versus Hawthorn. It's Hawthorn with a big lead at the halftime break, as you can see on the screen there. Going to have a look at all the team news for round 3. There's been some big ins for some clubs. We'll start with tomorrow night's match. Gee, it's going to be a big one between the Western Bulldogs and the Greater Western Sydney Giants. The Bulldogs have brought in Zane Cordy, Tom Liberatore and Toby McLean. Out goes Ryan Gardner, Billy Gowers, Patrick Lipinski. So some big ins there for the Dogs. While for the Giants, Lachlan Ash and Zach Langdon come in. Lachlan Ash is making his debut, and out comes Isaac Cumming. And this is a big out. This is a big omission. And the Dogs will be pretty happy with this. I know I am as a Dog supporter. Toby Green, he is out. He is injured. Not sure what the injury is, but he is out for the big clash against the Dogs at Marvel Stadium tomorrow night. North Melbourne, Sydney on Saturday afternoon. Paul O'Hearn comes in for Bailey Scott, who has been omitted. And for the Swans, Robbie Fox comes in for the injured Caden Brand. Collingwood and St Kilda, the twilight game on Saturday. For the Pies, Jaden Stevenson and Rupert Wills comes in for Jack Madgen and Josh Thomas. Both have been omitted. And for St Kilda, just the one change. Jonathan Marsh comes in for the injured Jaron Geary. In one of two Saturday night matches, Geelong taking on Carlton down there at the Cattery. No changes to the Cats as you would expect. Of course, they pumped the Hawks, the team we're seeing right now, by 61 points. Carlton have made a couple of changes. Jack Silvani and Tom Williamson in for Darcy Lang and Nick Newman. Lang's been omitted and Newman, of course, injured, as we saw last week. Brisbane and West Coast. This is going to be a good game, this one. Will we see a response from the Eagles? We might do. As for Brisbane, well, they're coming off a 12-point win against the Dockers. Brisbane have brought in Archie Smith for Stephen Martin, who's out injured. And for West Coast, they've made a couple of changes. Josh Rotham and Will Schofield in for the suspended Jeremy McGovern and Jack Nelson, who has been dropped. And then 3 games on Sunday. These are extended benches. We've extended benches, so Gold Coast, Adelaide. Gold Coast have brought in Brandon Ellis, Corey Ellis, Sam Flanders for a possible debut, and David Swallow. And the Crows have brought in Hammill for a debut, potentially. Hardican Himmelberg and Shane McAdam for a debut, potentially. The Essendon Bombers have brought in Ambrose, Fantasia, Ham and McKenna, while Melbourne have brought in Hannon, Hibbert, Pickett and Vandenberg. And then Port Adelaide and Fremantle, the last game of the round, of course, a doubleheader there at Metricon Stadium. Fremantle have brought in Blakey, Hill, Hogan, Sarong, Stewart and Nathan Wilson for Darcy and Dooman, while for Port Adelaide have brought in Bergman, Farrell, and also Wines for Burton, who is injured. So that's the teams there for Sunday, but of course they are extended teams, so they'll be confirmed in a little bit more depth tomorrow night. So make sure you go to the AFL website to keep up to date with that. No worries, Nicholas. And Julian says, I just can't get off this page. The call is so good. No worries, Julian. Happy that you are enjoying it. So what's Richmond going to do in this second half? They are struggling. They're on par for a similar scoreline to last week, 5-6-36. They ended up drawing to Collingwood. Pretty low scoreline. I tell you what, they were goalless once again in the first quarter. They've managed to kick 2 goals in the second quarter, but they did just that last week as well. They kicked 2 goals straight in the second quarter last week. So this game has plenty of similarities, or the performance from Richmond has plenty of similarities to the game last week against Collingwood. So they're going to have to do something big in the second half if they're going to turn this around. So we're just about set for the second half. Richmond and Hawthorn. Hawthorn leading convincingly right now. One person we haven't seen a lot tonight is Castagna. I can't remember calling his name a lot tonight. Riewoldt needs to do a bit more up forward, and so does Lynch. As the umpire holds the ball up in the air, we're ready to go. Second half, can the Hawks hold on to this massive lead, or will the Tigers come storming back from the dead? We're underway. Soldo hit it down to Cochin. He got a kick away to a one-on-one. And now it was Warple who ended up with the footy, got the handball to Stratton, now to Sicily. Sicily bangs it down the line. Hawley got a piece of it. Then Wingard got a piece of it. Now Sicily nearly lands in the back of Stack, but it was okay. Ball spills to ground. Wingard tries to get a hand on it. Scully got a toe poke off the ground. Now Hawley ends up with the footy. Got the handball to Cochin. He goes over the top to Prestia. Prestia tried to give the handball to Edwards, but it was cut off by Scully. And now ending up with the footy is Scrimshaw, and he goes out wide to Wingard. And now they're away here, the Hawks. They go inside 50, but the kick wasn't great. And intercepting it was Grimes. Or, no, hang on. It's going to be a free kick. Jonathan Patton. Not sure what it was for. Potentially something behind play or off the ball. And Jonathan Patton has a chance to kick his first goal of the game. Of course, coming over from the Giants. He's got enormous talent, we know that. And he'll be looking to put it together in 2020 at his new club. This would be a great start to the Hawks in the second half, but Patton has got it. And it's 51-13 in the early stages of the third quarter. So, yeah, Jonathan Patton, of course, injured last season. And then moves clubs. He, of course, missed out on that grand final with the Giants against Richmond. And then he moved to the Hawthorn Football Club. And if he can put together his best up in that forward line, then he is definitely a very good get from a Hawks point of view. So suddenly the Tigers, if they weren't in trouble already, they are in deep, deep trouble. They are in deep, deep trouble at the present. 2-1-13, the Tigers trail the Hawks 8-3-51 at the MCG. Damien Hardwick is just looking on, wondering what the heck is going on. So Ray Chamberlain about to bounce the ball. Segler and Soldo. Hawthorn have been smashing in the ruck at the moment, and same with the clearances. Now, what's going on here? It looks like it's going to be a free kick to the Tigers. And it's going to go to, not sure who that is. I can't quite see with the camera angle they've got as the kick comes inside 50. McAvoy nearly marked it. Frawley got a dribbling kick outside the defensive 50. Now, Caddy was meant to pick that up. He didn't. Stack behind. Gets a kick inside 50. Oh, nearly marked by Higgins. He got copped high, nearly in the back. Hawthorn clear it outside the defensive 50. Frawley bashes it to Henderson. Then gets a handball away to Wingard. Now, he turns it over. Hawley to Asprey, I think it was, who kicks it inside 50. Stratton toe pokes it off the ground. Hawley kicks it inside 50. It's a high ball. Can someone mark for the Tigers? Not quite. It comes out for Cochin, who finds some space, gets a kick away. It's going to go close to the line, and it comes off hands and out of bounds for a boundary throw-in. And Higgins got copped high by his own player. And it was Soldo, who I must admit has been a bit clumsy tonight. Soldo has been very clumsy tonight. He needs to pull his head in as Segler wins the hit out against Lynch. Now Prestia. Short kick. Clever kick if Caddy can mark it. Did he mark it? No. Oh, it's been paid. Yes. I thought he might have fumbled it over the line, but it's been paid a mark. Now he's on an angle. He's going to have to produce his very best if he's going to kick this. And this is a desperate goal needed for the Tigers. So Caddy lining up. Kick looks okay. It's gone to the goal square. And it's bounced through to the left side for a behind. So the behind is not going to help the Tigers one bit right now as Henderson handballs it off to Mitchell. He backtracks back to Henderson. Then that's a clever kick. Got it to O'Meara, who quick hands to Mitchell. Back to O'Meara. Put him under pressure. Caddy bowled him down. Then the ball spills to ground, but I think it's going to come back for the Hawks. And it's going to be a 50. Not sure what happened, but Mitchell gets a free kick and a 50 to go with it. So Mitchell, centre wing. What will he do with his footy? Let's have a look. He kicks it inside 50. It's a high ball. Grimes with the fist. Ball at ground level. Stack. Handball cut off by Scully. Vlostone was there. I think he might have kicked it off the ground, potentially into the arms of Smith. He's claiming the mark, but the umpire says no, 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 no. And it's going to be a ball up inside 50 for the Hawks. So quick ball up. Segler. Kick was smothered. Now Richmond come out of the defensive 50. Higgins. Bashes it forward. McAvoy spilt it. Sicily did too. And now Rioli. Higgins up in the air. Gee whiz, it's going to take some catching this. Rewalt goes up in the air to catch it. Scrimshaw got a handball away, but it was turned over to Lambert. Now Lambert's kick was smothered, and now Henderson has got the ball, and he's backtracked his handball to Frawley, and Frawley goes to full back, and that's a good kick to Frost. So Sam Frost is going to come out the other side here. He kicks it to O'Meara all alone. Of course, an inclusion tonight after the face fracture. Good kick to Mitchell. Quick hands to Smith. Now the kick ended up to O'Meara, but Cochin put the pressure on. Now Vlostone at the back. Handballs to Broad. Broad goes in the direction of Shy Bolton. He couldn't quite mark. Now the handball from Presti was good to Castagna. Now to Edwards. Edwards kicked to a 2-on-1 favouring Richmond. It comes out. Now Warple gathers the 40, but it looks like it's going to be a free kick to the Hawks. Front on contact by the looks of things. And the kick is going to go the way of Ricky Henderson. And it's Soldo again giving away the free kick. I said it before and I'll say it again. He's been very clumsy tonight. Thumbs up if you agree in the comments, if you can. It looks like Ricky Henderson is going to go off the ground. So he jogs away with the trainers as we see Prestia off the ground with maybe potentially a niggle as the ball comes to forward flank for the Hawks, but it's bounced out and it's going to be a boundary throw-in. So having a look at the free kick. In fact, this was Prestia taken high. As the ball comes back into play. Gee, Pickett's in the ruck. Unbelievable. And Scully belts it forward. Segler got a hand to it. It only ended up to Flostone. Now, Flostone spills it, but it worked out all right. It came out to Sydney Stack. And Sydney Stack, I think, has been pinged. He's been pinged for holding the footy. Incorrect disposal. Basically dropped it. And Wingard, who made the tackle, is going to get a free kick and a chance to kick his second of the night. So this would be I just can't see any way back for Richmond if Wingard was to kick this. Let's have a look. He's on a slide angle, but it looks very, very good. It looks scrumdiddly-umptious, I say. And Wingard has extended the Hawks' lead. It's trouble now for the Tigers. So, Sydney Stack bowled down by Wingard. And as a result, Wingard kicks his second of the night. It's 9-3-57 to 2-2-14. This has been some response by the Hawks tonight. As Prestia wanders around on the interchange. It's not going to help the Tigers, him being off the ground, that's for sure. He's one of the key players. So back in the middle we go. O'Brien. Good hit out to Bruce. Now, he was under pressure, but he got the handball to Warple very nicely. Warple's kick nearly landed in the hands of Hawley, but he spilt it. Now, Bruce handballs it inside 50. Short, don't argue, gets the kick away, and that was very good, and the kick ends up to Graham as we see Patton just feeling his nose. It made me feel my nose as Higgins tries to pick up the footy. Scrimshaw came away with it, gave it back to Higgins. Now Higgins kicks it down the line. Frawley under pressure, spilt it. Warple bowled down by Ross. And that's going to be holding the ball, says Ray Chamberlain. So Jack Ross, one of the inclusions into tonight's match, is going to get a free kick. Now, if they go inside 50, are they going to get a goal from it? Let's have a look. Ross kicks it inside 50. It's a high ball. O'Brien tried to stretch the arms and mark it. Frost tries his way, belts his way through to handball it, and then the kick comes out from the Tigers to Ross. And Jack Ross has the footy. So Ross, with the free kick, kicks it inside 50. Lynch is lurking. Frost lost it. And then the kick from Richmond has landed in the arms of Hardwick. So Hardwick goes to Hanrahan on the pocket. The back pocket, that is. Now he goes straight through the corridor to Burgoyne. He nearly marked it. And then gave the quick hands to Hardwick. Now Hardwick to Wingard. Wingard over the top. O'Meara to Gunston. He's got it. End-to-end stuff from the Hawks. And Gunston has a chance to kick his second goal of the night. 8 minutes to go in the third term. We've played nearly 11 minutes. Let's have a look and see what Gunston can do. He's on a slide angle, but he's very close range, and he makes no mistake of that, Jack Gunston. He's got 2 goals. And Hawthorn are annihilating their opposition. Having a look at some stats very quickly. And Isaac Smith still leading the disposal count with 24 disposals, 1 goal. O'Meara, 20 disposals, and Mitchell with 18. So the Hawks, that's the top 3 leading disposal getters. And then Prestia, who's out injured at the moment, with 15 disposals. So this is turning into a bit of a nightmare for the Tigers. Up it goes. Segler won that one. Prestia, who's back on the ground by the looks of it. Segler got the handball away. Tom Mitchell was able to gather it then. Backtracked to Shields. Sicily gang-banged there. And now the ball comes out for Lambert. Lambert in trouble. He ran into Burgoyne, then he ran into Hardwick. Hawks take the advantage. Scully inside 50. Patton got a piece of it. And Patton is going to get nothing because the Tigers are going to get a free kick and Grimes has been awarded it. So Grimes goes to the back pocket. Sydney Stack. Broad now receives the kick. Then he goes down the ground here at the far wing here at the MCG. It's the non-broadcast side. Frawley nearly marked that. He then got a handball from Shields from the pack. And then the ball comes inside 50 for the Hawks. City Stack did well to take on his opponent, get the 1-2. Now he handballs it over the top to Castagna. Castagna twists and turns, gets the kick away in the short direction. But Hardwick ends up with the footy, gets the quick hands to Warple. Warple kicks it inside 50 and the ball's been coughed up by Vlostone. So now Richmond trying to work their way outside the defensive 50 here. Who would have thought? Restricted to 2 goals in this match. Hawley has it. Centre wing broadcast side. He plays on. Snaps it around to Marlon Pickett, who takes the mark. Now Marlon Pickett, very good kick to Lambert, I think it is. Now Lambert gets the quick hands off. And Richmond go inside 50. Can Lynch mark this? It's a one-on-one. Segler. Lynch marks it. He beats Segler and then belts it through. And that's the goal that the Tigers needed. It's going to take a few more goals for them to get back into this match, but it is a start at least. With 14 and a half minutes gone, it's the Hawks leading the Tigers, 10-3-63 to 2-2-14. So let's have a look at the replay. Good little ball movement there from the Tigers. And very good mark by Lynch. He held off Segler and was able to kick it into an open goal in the end. So back in the middle we go. And Hawthorn get the clearance straight away here. One-on-one Burgoyne and short. Richmond come away with it. And I think the Tigers have got a free kick here. Looks like it's going to go to Shane Edwards. So Tigers have a free, close to the Hawks forward 50. He goes close to the line. It was in the direction of Graham, but it's bounced out of play for a boundary throw-in. By the way, your Powerball numbers, 32, 24, 28, 17, 7, 14 and 22. And then the 1. So if you've won Powerball tonight, congratulations. As Cochin at ground level tries to grab the footy. It comes out for Smith. Great little kick to Warple, who then goes inside 50. Bouncing ball. Tigers have the numbers to deal with this. Asprey picks it up. Quick hands to Vlostone. Now he handballs it out to a bunch of Richmond players and they handball among themselves. Sydney Stack gave their handball off to Prestier, I think it was. Kicks it down the corridor. Lynch marks it in the centre circle. Then kicks it inside 50. Hoping for a mark by Soldo. Out the back, Marlon Pickett couldn't pick it up in time. He spills the footy once he picked it up. Trent Cotchin had the footy but spilled it to Sicily, and now O'Meara has the footy and he clears it out and the Hawks might be out here. Hanrahan takes the mark, kicks it in the centre square. Vlostone, good intercept, beats Smith to the footy, then played on, kicks it inside 50. It's a low ball and marking the footy is tonight's late inclusion in Jack Scrimshaw. So the Hawks may be out here. Gunston has the footy on the centre wing. He goes inside 50. Burgoyne all on his own. Can it get to him in time? Grimes was able to rush it through. Now Richmond are looking to get Hawks on the counter-attack here. Grimes plays on. Kicks it to short. Handballed off to Graham. Now Graham, it looks like he's picked a target out. It is Marlon Pickett, I think. Now Marlon Pickett goes to the centre square. Shy Bolton marks in the centre circle. He plays on. Kicks it in the direction of Jackie Boy. Jack Rewalt taking a mark. And he has a chance to kick his first goal of the night. Don't think he kicked a goal last week off memory. So this would be his first goal since returning from the COVID-19 suspension. Just the 4 disposals, the 1 mark. That was his first mark. Unbelievable. And look at that kick. That is un-Rewalt-like. He has hooked it to the left for a minor. Unbelievable. As Henderson gets the kick from Hardwick at the back pocket. Now he kicks it short over the top to Wingard. Wingard takes the mark. And now he waits. Wingard waits. The umpire telling him to play on. Wingard just kicks it short to Henderson. Close to the interchange, Ricky Henderson. Now he kicks it short again. Back to Wingard. Wingard 10 disposals. Kicks it short to Liam Shields, who's been a little quiet tonight, it's fair to say. Liam Shields plays on. He's close to the line. He gets a kick up down the ground. It's a high ball. Pack of players. Got his hand on it with Soldo. Ball came out to Stack. Good little punch on to Asprey, I think it was. Didn't work though. Asprey turned it over to O'Brien. Now to Burgoyne. And then Burgoyne beautifully to Gunston. Gunston just getting away from Vlostone. And this is just not going right for the Tigers tonight. This is not going right at all, but it's going all the way to the Hawks. And don't you love it as a Hawks supporter to see this performance after getting belted by 61 points at GMHBA Stadium in the previous round. Of course, they did play very well against the Lions in round 1 before the suspension. As Gunston tries to work it from the right, it doesn't come back. It sticks to the right, and it's a minor score. So 3-3-21 to the Hawks. 10-4-64. As Asprey has the football. Back pocket for the Tigers. Minute 26 to go. He goes short to short. How about that? Short to short. Jaden Short I'm talking about. Now he's going to switch it over here to the broadcast side. Now it's a 2-on-1 favouring the Hawks. Nicely played. Stack. Quick hands to Vlostone. This looks good from the Tigers. Vlostone out in the direction of Broad. Now Broad looks inside 50. Rewalt leading. Rewalt marks. So Rewalt just getting away from Frawley there. Frawley tried to apply the punch, but Rewalt was able to kick this. Now he's on a tougher angle and a tougher position than what he was when he missed the shot a moment ago. So he's really going to have to improve significantly if he's going to kick this. This is what the Tigers need going into three-quarter time. They're a long-lost cause at the moment in this match, but never say never, I suppose. Rewalt. Gee, that's not great. He's stuck it to the pocket. It comes off hands. Sicily belts it out. It lands in the Stack direction. Stack a low ball. And it's going to be Hawthorn who mark. And with 12 seconds to go, nothing going right for the Tigers at the moment as they make their way outside the defensive 50, the Hawks to the wing. And Patton sees it through for a boundary throw-in. So 5 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. It's a big lead to the Hawks. They've led all night. They've dominated all night. They're going to lead at the three-quarter time break. Scully grabs the footy, gives the handball off, but the siren sounds. Richmond, the reigning premiers, in a bit of strife here. 3-3-21. They trail the Hawks. 10-5-65. Now, look at that. Damien Hardwick, he wonders, what can the Tigers do to turn this around? Gee whiz, they're going to have to pull something out of the hat if they're going to get back into this in the last quarter. So repeating, 3-3-21, the Tigers trailing the Hawks 10-5-65. Going through the goal kickers for the Tigers, singles to Edwards, Lynch and Bolton. And for the Hawks, it's 2 goals to Gunston and Wingard, and then singles to O'Meara, Smith, Segler, Bruce, O'Brien and Patton. So let's have a look at some stats here. And Isaac Smith with 25 disposals, followed by Jager O'Meara of 22 disposals. And then Tom Mitchell rounds out the top 3 leading disposal getters. They're all Hawthorn. He's on 20 disposals. And then the next best is Richmond, Nick Vlostone with 18 disposals. So don't go anywhere. Coming up after the break, it's the 4th term. Can Richmond pull something out of the hat? Gee whiz, it's going to take some, it's going to take something very special. Stay tuned for the last quarter after this short break. All right, we're about to get stuck into the fourth term, Thursday night footy. It's been all about the Hawks, that is for sure. Recapping the three-quarter time score, 3-2, 3-3-21, Richmond trailing the Hawks 6-5-63. So just recapping some of the major ball winners. Vlostone, 18 for Richmond, but it's all Hawthorn, really. Smith, 25, O'Meara, 22, and Mitchell, 20 disposals. So, gee, it's just going to... I don't see Richmond coming back from here, especially since they've found it hard to score in the last 7 quarters they've played. Quite unbelievable from the reigning premiers, isn't it? As we have a look at the compare the pair, thanks to Channel 7, and it's Tom Mitchell leading Trent Cotchin 20-13 in the disposal departments. However, Cotchin has had 9 contested possessions compared to Mitchell 5. So Cotchin on top there in that area, but Mitchell on top in the disposals. So we're just about to get it stuck into the last quarter. Here at the MCG. What will this last quarter dish up? Will the Hawks hang on and win convincingly? You'd expect them to. Or can the Tigers come back from the dead? Let's have a look. So we just wait for that first bounce of the fourth term. By the way, Hawthorn absolutely destroying the Tigers in the hit-outs department, 19-9. So maybe they need to look at bringing back in Toby Nankervis potentially. I'm not sure why he's not in if he's injured. But anyway, back we go. Fourth term about to get underway. And Ray Chamberlain bounces the ball. So here we go. Soldo, Segler. Segler wins the tap. Graham got the handball away to Cotchin. Now Cotchin gets a kick towards the 50. Now collecting the 40 and kick it inside 50 is Higgins. Now very, very good intercept there by Frawley. It got to Sicily. Sicily just clears it out of the defensive 50. Now going up in the air trying to mark it was Ross. He stood his ground and got a handball away. Got a handball over to from Broad, and now to Prestia to Castagna, who marks on the forward flank. So a chance here for the Tigers to kick the first goal of the last term. He's on an angle. He's going to have to produce his best from here. Castagna. Kick looks good. It looks very, very good. It's got there. So Richmond get a goal. The first goal of the fourth term. Richmond goal, Castagna. Yes, thank you for that. So it was a good bit of play there by the Tigers. And what a goal from Castagna from the boundary line on an angle, about 48 metres out, I'm guessing. And they get a much needed goal, the Tigers, but they're going to need more than that. Back up it goes. Soldo got a hand on it there. Edwards Shrug his opponent off and got a handball to Cochin, who then clears it out of the area towards the forward 50. It goes over heads. Now McAvoy's got the pressure of Bolton. McAvoy did well to get a hand on it, but Bolton was able to collect it. Now he looks for a target. I think he might have picked out a target. It's Higgins. No, Soldo goes for it. The ball comes out for Higgins. Higgins just belts it towards the goal square, and that hasn't quite worked because it's fell in the hands of Frost. We've got someone tuning in from the UK. That is fantastic news. Hope you're enjoying the footy action as the ball comes out of the Tigers forward 50 and bounces out of play for a boundary throw-in. So 27-65. A long road back for the Tigers. You'd have to think that they need a couple of quick ones to get themselves back into this match, but at the moment they're not there. Edwards tries to control it, couldn't quite. Now Asprey, quick hands to Higgins, to Edwards, I think it was. Now the handball got to Castagna. Kick out of bounds on the full from the Tigers. And we see Dimmer Hardwick, who's decided to sit on the bench for this quarter and breathe in the fresh air and see what's going on down at ground level. Now I'm not sure who kicked that out of the air and out of bounds on the full, but anyway, McAvoy takes the quick kick to Sicily. Sicily now goes up the line. Segler the target. Vlosto nearly marked that. Ball comes out for Segler. Then he lost it. He then kicked it off the ground. Cochin tries to gather the footy. He got a handball back to Asprey. Now Asprey kicks it to the Warple direction. And he turns it over there. Warple taking the mark and then sending it across to Hardwick. They then come out to the far wing here, the Hawks. Frawley taking the mark. So James Frawley, of course, the former D, has been playing for the Hawks for some time now. Frawley goes down the line. One-on-one. Grimes nearly marked it. Stack was able to crumb it. Then get the handball off to Vlostone. Now Vlostone sends it down the line and Shai Bolton takes the mark. They might be off here, the Tigers. Quick hands to Graham. Graham sends it inside 50. Lynch! Good chest mark from Lynch. Good body work there on McAvoy. And this for back-to-back goals. It would be the first time tonight that Richmond has scored back-to-back goals if Lynch was able to score this. As we see the kick come in to Lynch. It was a good mark, and that's what is required from the Tigers' big forwards. So Lynch directly in front. Has to kick this. And for the first time tonight, Richmond have not scored back-to-back goals. I tell you what, Lynch has missed it. He has missed it. I was ready to call it a goal. And directly in front, Tom Lynch has hooked it. Unbelievable. As the kick comes out of the defensive 50 for the Hawks. Bubbling around there at ground level. Mitchell got the handball out to Segler. Now to Scrimshaw. Short hands to Hanrahan. So Hanrahan. Short kick to Scrimshaw. I can't believe Tom Lynch missed that goal. Up the line. Ball's been coughed up by the Tigers, but the Hawks are going to get a free kick. It's Jonathan Patton. So Jonathan Patton has it on the broadcast wing. He kicks it short to Mitchell. Now Mitchell. Short kick to Isaac Smith. Smith, he's had a very good night tonight, hasn't he? 25 disposals. He goes into the centre of the ground. Not the best option. Rewalt nearly marked it. Lynch had a piece of it, fell to ground. Rewalt was able to mop up. Give the quick hands to Rewalt. Now they might be off here to the Tigers. Kick comes in for Castagna. Castagna tried to mark it, but spills the footy. Now Shields came in to mop up the danger. And now Frawley to Sicily. And gee whiz, the Tigers, they give up a golden opportunity there as Smith takes the mark. Absolutely poor from the Tigers tonight, especially going inside 50. As Smith comes out off the hands of a pack of players. Segler had it, lost it. Caddy trying to bustle his way through. Then he lost it. Edwards got the footy. Then handball to a teammate. It was Lambert who gave it to Hawley. Now Hawley goes to a one-on-one. Rewald has to beat Frawley. Couldn't quite. Scully comes in to mop up the danger. Gives the handball quick to Sicily. Then Sicily dribbles his way out of the defensive 50. Now Hanrahan quickly to Rewald who kicks it up in the air and out of bounds on the full, but I think it's going to be a free kick to Rewalt. Not sure why, but Jack Rewalt's going to get a free, I think. It was an off-the-ball incident. As Rewalt comes in with the kick. Packer plays Lynch at the back, couldn't quite mark it. McAvoy was able to grab the footy out the back. Frost now quick hands to Smith, who then gave quick hands to Shields. Now Shields' kick is not great. It comes out to an outnumbered pack from a Hawks point of view. Now Caddy comes in with the handball. Rioli squaring kick. Castagna marks. Beautiful. So Castagna's taken the mark. Now he needs to go back and kick this. He'll be directly in front. I think he's been a bit quiet tonight, Castagna. He hasn't done too much. Although he has kicked one goal. So this for back-to-back goals for the Tigers. For the first time tonight. He comes in with the kick. And he has got it. So the Tigers have back-to-back goals for the first time tonight, but is it too little too late? We'll find out. So, Richmond, thanks to Castagna, get another goal. It's a much-needed goal. Although every goal's a must-needed goal for them at the moment. The inside 50s in the last quarter, by the way, 9-0 in favour of the Tigers. Gee, if they made the most of all those inside 50s, they would be back in it by now. Tigers have kicked the last 3 goals of the game, so they're having a bit of a passage here, the Tigers, where they're on top as we get a stoppage. In fact, there's a bit of biff and buff here. It's on at the G. A bit of push and shove as the umpire is going to ball it up. Broad held his ground and won the hit out, but it went straight to Scully, who gets it to the top of the 50. Didn't quite go inside 50, and marking it is Asprey. So Asprey goes short to Hawley inside the Hawks forward 50. Now he goes off to Higgins, I think it was. Now Higgins goes to Rewalt. Rewalt a bit further up the ground here. Now he's looking inside 50. He's looking for a teammate. Instead he pops it to the centre. Cotchin's the target and Cotchin marks well. Chance here perhaps for the Tigers to get 4 goals in a row, and the kick comes inside 50 from Cotchin and Rewalt marks. So this would bring it back to 25 points if Rewalt was able to kick this. He hasn't. He's had a couple of chances, Rewalt, but he's hooked both of them. Needs to kick this, Jackie boy. Let's have a look. Jack Rewalt on a slide angle. Misses. Misses. He just keeps missing. And the margin is 30 points with 8 minutes to go. So Scrimshaw taking the kick out. Kicks it to a pack of players. Broad at the back. Got a fist to it. Wingard came away with it. Handballed it to Shields. And then Shields sends it down the line and a bounce out of play for a boundary throw-in. So a 30-point margin. With 7:50 remaining on the clock. Back into play. No one won the hit out there between Broad and O'Brien. Now Hardwick has been taken high after gathering the footy. So free kick to Hardwick. Hardwick decides to switch it. Frawley takes the mark on the other wing. Now Frawley goes down the line, down the corridor, I should say. O'Meara taking the mark. Virtually in the centre of the ground. Now he looks inside 50, kicks it in that direction. Leaping up was O'Brien, but a good spoil there by Grimes. Now Hawley got a handball away. It was a dangerous one, but Graham was able to collect. Now Broad tries to hit up Sydney Stack, and he does just that. Sydney Stack takes the mark. Now Sydney Stack, where does he go here? How do they get another goal, the Tigers? How do they keep themselves in it? Sydney Stack is forced to go short, and it's to Grimes. So they're having a lot of trouble. In fact, they've had a lot of trouble all night. Once they get it inside the defensive 50, it is hard to get it back out. Broad takes the mark from Grimes. He goes back to Grimes. Now, Grimes wants to go to Hawley, but instead he takes a bounce. He may just kick this long. No, he handballs it off to Hawley. Now, Hawley handballs it off to Vlosto. Back to Hawley, who's trying to start something. Now, Vlosto receives the handball back. Kicks it down the line. Pack of players forming. Bouncing ball collected by Lambert. Now, Lambert pops it in front of Rioli. Rioli did well to hit it to space and then collect it. And now Lambert inside 50. That was well done by Richmond. And Castagna takes the mark. And a chance here for the Tigers to kick another goal. So this would bring it to a 24-point margin if the Tigers were to kick this. He's already kicked a couple, Castagna. This for his third, and that's not going to claw them back into the game. The margin to 29 points. So the ball comes out. Sorry, I've just been distracted here. Richmond, the scoreboard here on the broadcasters gave Richmond the goal. But that was a behind. So kick comes out to the wing. Comes off hands. Ball spills out to Hanrahan, but he lost the footy. And now Bolton takes on his opponent, then kicks it inside 50, but kicks it to Hawks players. No one marked it though, but getting a hand to it was Scrimshaw, and it's been forced out of play. So it's a 29-point margin with 5 minutes to go. Gee, this would be a big comeback if the Tigers were able to get back into it. But they're just missing too many chances here in this fourth quarter. They've probably been the better team in this last quarter, though, as Lynch tries to bust his way through after losing it. Now he hasn't lost it. Warple came out and got it to Hardwick. Now Hardwick just sends it up in the air. Coming in from the side was Broad, and then the ball bounces out of play for a boundary throw-in. Don't forget, tomorrow night, Western Bulldogs and Giants. Looking forward to that game. I won't be calling it, but I'll be sitting at home on the couch and enjoying it. So back into play. Segler, Hardwick, handball to Warple. And Warple has turned it over. Vlostone takes the mark, coughing it up. Now, he is forced to go back to Asprey. Now, he's got someone by himself on the far wing if he wants it. Instead, he's going to go short, broadcast side. Graham takes the mark. Now, he sends it down the line, and that goes out of bounds on the full. So with 4:13 to go, it's a 29-point lead to the Hawks. Gee, Smith, Mitchell, Gunston, O'Meara and Warple all clocking up at least 10 Ks. Hardwick taking the free kick. Kicks it to a pack of players. O'Brien nearly marked. Hawley lost the footy. O'Brien tackled down to the ground. And that's a free kick, says the umpire. So O'Brien has a free kick. The Hawks a chance to put the icing on the cake, perhaps. Kicks it inside 50. Pack of players. Soldo. O'Meara. In fact, it was Gunston who kept it in. Got it to Wingard. Wingard has been locked up. And now Richmond come away with it here. In fact, it's going to be a free kick to the Hawks. Not sure what for. Not sure what that free kick was for. I think the umpire might have made a blue there. And Wingard has a free kick and has a chance to kick his third goal of the night. He's been very good tonight, Chad Wingard. He's going to be kicking on an angle. He's going to have to maybe kick it around the body. Let's have a look. To extend the margin back out. Has he got it? He has! Wingard scores his third goal, and Hawthorn are putting the icing on the cake now. So this has just been a Hawthorn show tonight, hasn't it? A huge blowout. Bit of an upset, really, to be honest. So matches to come for Richmond. They've got St Kilda next week at Marvel Stadium, and then they've got to go and take on West Coast at Metricon Stadium on a Thursday night. As Cochin kicks it off the ground inside 50, but it only went as far as Sicily. Now Sicily just kicks it down the line. Oh, good mark, Hawley. Very well done. Was able to outmark Smith there. Now he looks inside 50, kicks it to the top of the 50. It's a high ball. Rewalt there. Ball at ground level. Warple was able to gather it, get the handball to Stegler. Now to Mitchell. Oh, it was intended for Warple, that handball, but Shai Bolton cut it off. And Rewalt couldn't quite pick it up. And now the Hawks come outside the defensive 50. No, they don't. Shields drop the footy. Now Scrimshaw. In fact, it's going to be holding the ball, I think. And Higgins is going to get a free kick. So Richmond leading 5-6-36 to the Hawks. 11-5-71. We're into time on. 2 minutes to play. Higgins with a chance to reduce the margin. He wastes it. (5-7-37). They go past their score from last week, but only by a point. As the Hawks clear it out of their defensive 50. Out the back was Asprey. Hawley now ends up with the footy now. Out wide to Higgins. Higgins gets it inside 50, and that's a very good mark taken by Jack Ross. In fact, it's not Jack Ross, it's Daniel Rioli, I should say. So Daniel Rioli kicking from just outside 50. It's not going to make the distance or the accuracy, and it's been rushed through for a behind. So Hardwick to take the kick out. There's not long left. Hardwick with the kick out. Goes to the broadcast wing. Soldo off hands. Hawley back to Broad. Broad now off to Graham. Now to Castagna, I think it was, and the kick wasn't great. And it lands in the hands of Stratton. Oh, that kick has been intercepted by Stratton. In fact, it's been intercepted by Caddy. The kick from Stratton being intercepted by Caddy, and Caddy's got a chance to reduce the margin and put their score into the 40 range. as the clock ticks down. Caddy for his first goal tonight. That is hitting the post. They've missed a lot of chances tonight, the Tigers. 8 behinds in the match. So James Sicily takes the kick out with 20 seconds to go. It comes out of the Hawks defensive 50. Comes off hands from a contest. Warple to Wingard. And now short to Jonathan Patton. So Patton just takes his time. Kicks short to Isaac Smith. What a win this is going to be for Hawthorn. What a response after getting belted by the Cats at Canidia Park the previous week. They've made a statement tonight at the home of footy. They've destroyed the Tigers, the reigning premiers. 11-5-71 to 5-9-39. What a performance from the Hawks. Alistair Clarkson sits with a smile on his face. Trent Cotchin not happy at all. And you would think that there's going to be a bit of fallout from this from a Tigers perspective. So just repeating, the final score of the Tigers, 5-9-39, defeated by the Hawks, 11-5-71. Let's go through the goal kickers for the Hawks. Wingard kick 3, Gunston kick 2, and then singles to O'Meara, Smith, Segler, O'Brien, Bruce, and Patton. As we see the Hawks fans on the Toyota fan zone, they're pumping at the moment. They're very happy. And just the 4 goal kickers for the Tigers tonight. 5 goals in total. Castagna kick 2, Edwards, Lynch, and Bolton with singles. Let's have a look at the major ball winners. And, well, Isaac Smith, 29 disposals, the highest for the night. Then in second, Basher Hooley with 25. Tom Mitchell, 23. James Sicily, 23 as well. Jager O'Meara, 23. And Vlostone with 22. Having a look at some stats and see where it was lost. And, well, the Hawks, they had 318 disposals to 297. Richmond won the inside 50s in the end, 43 to 35. So that's very interesting. Not making the most of their inside 50s. Hawks, they smashed Richmond in the hitouts department, 25 to 11. Clearances 22 to 17 in favour of the Hawks. Richmond won the contested possessions 121 to 108, but the Hawthorn Football Club won the uncontested possessions 196 to 175. So that's it. That's going to do it for this edition of Bev's Footy Calls. Thank you very much for watching. It was Hawthorn destroying the Tigers on a Thursday night at the MCG to start round 3. The final score once again, 11-5-71. The Hawks defeating the Tigers 5-9-39. Enjoy the rest of your night and enjoy the rest of round 3.